It's the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of a 2017 game that originally released for the Wii U. Woo! Hey, what's up guys, Justin here, and at this current moment, the Switch 2 has only been out for about 5 months, and the library is pretty decent so far. Decent! There's Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, and everything from the Switch 1. However, Nintendo decided, you know what, let's release some games that were on Switch 1 and charge them more and add some tiny little additions to them to make the extra $10 worth it. The end result? Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games. Now, I've already made a video talking about the Switch 2 when it first released, that I didn't have it, and still don't have, by the way. But I do have a Switch 1 from back in the day, but when I bought it back in January 2020 anyway, and I have games on it that I can play on Switch 2. And some of them have Switch 2 editions. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Just a good chunk of the currently available Switch 1 games with Switch 2 editions. Just for clarification of what I'm talking about games that originally released for the Switch 1 but were re-released for Switch 2, and either you can buy them physically or buy a upgrade pack, which usually varies depending on the price. So let's get started with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Okay, technically these games don't have a Switch 2 edition, but they were given an update that pretty much qualifies what I would consider to be a Switch 2 edition. Speaking of which, transition! So with all these Switch 2 upgrades, the main thing that you're going to see with them all, and what Nintendo keeps hammering themselves with them, is a increased frame rate, faster loading times both into the game and in-game load screens, improved visuals, and a higher level of stability. And in Scarlet and Violet's case, it's an actual game! So all the game needed was a update for it to run better. Now, before people say, actually, the new console's hardware is what made it run better, let me just tell you right now, without that update, the game would have run just like how it did on Switch. Which, for all the Switch 2 users who have forgotten how the Switch 1 versions of those games ran, not well. Okay, let's move on to the first game that officially has a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Originally released day one with the Switch, Breath of the Wild is one of the biggest genre-defining games of all time. It also released on the Wii U. So, we're to release a 8-year-old game that you can already play on the Switch 2 for $10 more. And what are we adding? An extra save file.
I'll take your entire stock!
So, if you have saved data on Switch 1, that you can transfer it over to the Switch 2, but if you want to really experience the game, you have a second save. It's nice that there's a second save now for each account. Wait, for each account? Wait, hang on, why not just make another Switch account and not connecting it to the internet? You can do that. I've done it. I got a second account on my Switch. Snoop Dogg. They also added a daily bonus reward that gives you random rewards from health to weapon repair, and new voice memories that detail the history of certain structures, and new ways to track shrines and Korok seeds. All of this is available through the brand new Zelda notes on the Nintendo mobile app.
What?
These did not need to be locked behind a mobile app, and since it can also function as kind of like a mini-map, it actually kind of feels like what the Wii U version was supposed to be like, just maybe not with an app. So if you don't have the app, it's pretty much just the same game, just spruced up a little bit and an extra save file. Honestly, I had no problems with the performance on the Switch 1 outside of very minor instances. So this version is kind of, I don't see the point of it. But what about the sequel, Tears of the Kingdom? Outside of frame rate, resolution, load times, a second save again, and slightly improved shadows, yes! The only thing that is added is voice memories, which are only found on Zelda notes. That's it. That's all they added. I guess the performance upgrade is welcome since the game was really pushing the Switch 1's hardware, and there's already well enough to do in the game. But really, an extra $10 for this, for a game that's already $70? So to wrap this whole thing up, are these upgrades worth the 22 to 28 gigabytes worth of space respectfully? I'm not making that shit up. Keep in mind that while the Switch 2 does have more storage, the games are also getting a lot bigger, so don't think you can just throw more games into your Switch 2 just yet. So are the Switch 2 editions of Zelda worth it? Personally, no. Maybe Tears of the Kingdom, you can make an argument on that, but that's still an extra $10 for a game that can obviously run better elsewhere. But keep in mind, this is all in my opinion. You are free to give your own in the comment section down below. Super Mario Jamboree Party. Yeah, I don't think I qualify for this game. So this game does add some new mini games for the Switch 2 using the mouse controls on the new Joy-Cons in a game called Carnival Coaster and Bowser Life, which uses the microphone and motion controls for its mini games. Alright, new mini games, the Jamboree TV thing with a crappy camera resolution. This seems a bit more worth it. This is an $80 party game? Monopoly's cheaper than this! Look, I don't play party games because they require friends, and as you saw, I don't have any. So this is really worth it for me. But even if I did have friends, that's still an $80 purchase. So I don't know if that justifies it for me, really. So let's go back to a category more fitting for me. Single player games with Kirby and the Forgotten Land? They did this? Okay, what did they do? Okay, this is actually kind of cool. A new world with a new story and abilities. This is $20, ain't it? Okay, I do have Kirby and Forgotten Land on Switch 1. I've talked about it before on the channel on games that I enjoyed but probably won't play back again. And I did enjoy my time with the game, like I said in that video. So it's cool that they added a new story to it and a new world. I don't think that justifies an $80 cost. Also, the phrase, I paid $80 to play a Kirby game, might get you some weird looks in public. The pink devil ball? And the most recent Nintendo first party game to release with a either Switch 2 edition or a upgrade pack, Pokémon Legends Z-A. For $10, you get better visuals, frame rates, and resolution. That's it. Given the mixed reception I've been hearing about this game, I don't think a extra $10 to upgrade for just better looking, probably more slightly better looking, visuals is all too worth it. And if you want to call me oh, this guy just doesn't like Pokemon. I have been growing up with Pokemon people, and this is kind of the theme with a lot of Switch 2 edition games. Just slightly better visuals and frame rates, and maybe utilizing some new features only on the Switch 2, like the mouse controls. I'm talking about games like Tomodachi Paradise, Civ 6, games like that really, that just like, oh, spruce up the frame rate just a little bit. So that's why I'm not going too much in depth with Switch 2 edition games or upgrade packs where it's just frame rate resolution stuff. I know I did with the Pokemon games, so that's Pokemon. And that's kind of wrap for all the first party games I released. But there is one coming for Metroid Prime 4 releasing at the end of 2025. Some of the exclusives for the Switch 2 edition are mouse control support and having both quality mode and performance mode available. I mean, the mouse control stuff kind of sounds neat. I can see that helping out with like aiming around and possibly moving around too. And with the addition of quality mode and performance mode, interesting that's a console exclusive, I can see how I can kind of make the argument of that being worth $10. Not gonna lie, I kind of figured it was 20. And that's pretty much it for all the first party Switch games with Switch 2 edition. So, alongside a free 3.0 update for both console versions, the Switch 2 version implements the mouse controls for both decorating and creating designs and messages, which is, that's kind of neat. I can see that working out pretty well. Utilizing the microphone via the megaphone item they're adding. Why is it locked behind a megaphone? 4 additional players that can roam around on your island, so that increases the maximum amount of players on your island from 8 to 12, and implementing the camera into the game. Don't they have in-game reactions for that? I think just doing that will just say for itself, or the person's tone. As of now, they haven't announced how much the Switch 2 edition will cost, but on their website they do have the price for the upgrade pack. $5? Worth it! This is probably one of the easiest expansion packs for me to recommend, if they don't change the price between now and January 16th. If they do, I'd wager it would change to $20. But as of now, I would say it's worth it. And that's pretty much all the first party Switch 1 games with either a Switch 2 edition or a upgrade pack. So, let's predict some more. Paper Mario and Origami King. Hey, I wasn't expecting Kirby to get one, so who says this game can't get one? Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I mean, it would make sense. Just add another world and maybe another ability, and boom, $20 price tag right there. Xenoblade. Any of the Xenoblade games. I've never played them personally, but they're fairly popular, and I can see at least Chronicles 3 getting a Switch 2 edition. Pikmin 4. Again, never played them, but it's also possible they can do this. Princess Peach Showtime. New stage, new costume. I mean, come on, Nintendo. I'm just giving you ideas at this point. And, oh, that was actually my list. So yeah, I kind of just want to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games because I've kind of been noticing more and more, and Animal Crossing came out left field for me. Like, I'm recording this days after that announcement. So, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about all this, like, stuff, really. And what games would you want to see, hopefully fairly priced, getting the Switch 2 edition or an upgrade pack. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, make sure you like the video once, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!